Quran is quite clear about the heavenly reward for a jihadist who falls fighting in the path of Allah. He will be granted instant access to paradise, and a Muslim paradise is an extremely sensual one. It is full of huris, black-eyed beauties that will await the martyr, and the gratification that follows is eminently unsuitable for a family audience.
The Quran contains no guarantee of paradise except for those who slay and are slain in the cause of Allah.
Verily, Allah has purchased of the believers their lives and their properties, for the price that theirs shall be the paradise. They fight in Allah's cause, so they kill others and are killed. Then rejoice in the bargain which you have concluded. That is the supreme success.
In other words, the guarantee of paradise is for people who are killed while they are killing, to establish the hegemony of Allah, or Islamic law, in the world.
Jihad in Islam can be spiritual or physical. The spiritual jihad is striving to be a better Muslim. But also there is a physical part of jihad that you cannot take it away from Islam.
Jihad in Islam means struggle. That's what the literal meaning of the word, struggle. But what the West doesn't understand is that the hadith, the compilation of the traditions of the Prophet Muhammad of Islam, there's almost about 100 hadiths regarding jihad. And if you look at every single one of them has the sword, war, or a military effort. And in the end of the expedition, jihad expedition, he said, now I resort to the jihad within, the jihad that is within, the self-struggle. And as a matter of fact, I had this dialogue with an Islamist one time. He says, Walid, come on, tell the West that jihad means struggle. I said, yes, it does mean self-struggle. You're right. Jihad does mean self-struggle. But so does Mein Kampf. Mein Kampf means my struggle. In the same fashion, the Islamists look at jihad.
It is a very dangerous element of the Islamic teaching, because this instant gratification through martyrdom is an attractive concept. And by the way, when the so-called martyr operation is carried out by Hamas, what is announced from the minarets of mosques is not the death of so-and-so who carried out the attack, but the wedding of so-and-so to the huris. In other words, they immediately make the implication that far from having to cry over his disappearance, over the end of his physical life, his parents should be happy and celebrate and throw a party because their son is now being not only transported into heaven, but greeted there with these voluptuous beauties.
Shaheed, the word shaheed, means witness. To witness, to testify. To testify there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is His messenger. And you die as a shaheed for that cause. You're a witness. You're considered a witness, a martyr. And a martyr becomes glorified. Your family will glorify you after you die. To a Muslim fundamentalist living in the Middle East, I had to be initiated. I had to basically either kill my first Jew or destroy my first Zionist infrastructure. I had to prove, beyond shadow of a doubt, that I was worthy. And there are ample amount of students, teenagers, men, who are willing to die as suicide martyrs, or willing to put explosives. The martyr application is filled. There are many applicants. There's not enough bombs to fulfill the applicants. And to get on one of those missions, indeed you must have been chosen. You must have been really good. You must have been violent enough. You must have been going out on every demonstration in the streets of Jerusalem or Bethlehem or our village, you must have shown yourself worthy of a greater operation. So when I explain what I've done and people have seen me in the community and I was worthy, I ended up in prison, I was of course recruited. And I remember Mr. Mahmoud al-Mughrabi. He was proud to have planted 15 bombs, killed many Israelis. And he was being bailed out by a Jewish Israeli lawyer who was back right in the street. So you find your bomb maker and you apply. You say, look, I want to join. I want to do my first martyr operation, planting a bomb or whatever. And you need connection. So I found my connection. I rendezvoused with this guy in Jerusalem, in Shara Bab al-Wad. And he built this explosive charge with a timer and a loaf of bread. And I had to smuggle it from the Temple Mount under the auspices of Al-Waqf department. Al-Waqf police is the Islamic police appointed by the government to watch over the holy sites. Them knowingly that I had explosive charges smuggled me so I can escape from the checkpoints. And there, I carried my explosive charge from Jerusalem to Bank Laumi Israel in Bethlehem. I was supposed to put the explosive charge at 6 p.m. exactly. I was supposed to have this explosive charge in my hands at 6 p.m. exactly. 5 to 6, I saw some Arab children running around, and I didn't want to kill any Arabs. So I decided to place the explosive charge on the roof. I tossed it on the roof. At 6 p.m. it went off, and there was this big explosion. I looked behind me, I see this thick black smoke coming out of the building, and I started running. That's the moment I first got a glimpse of the reality of killing. I thought people have died. And I remember I didn't sleep for 3 days, constantly worried that I've killed somebody. Even terrorists have a reality check that you kill or you're about to die. You can sense it. This is why in Israel, the nature of finding out a terrorist suicide bomber is to look at their eyes. They'll have these glossy eyes. They're sweating profusely. They're not paying attention because in their mind they're about to go. And you weigh the reality of what now you're going to die. And many times I've been in this situation where I had thought that I was going to get killed, shooting back and forth as we stone at the Israelis and they shoot back at us and things like that. I was face to face with death. When you think in your mind you're going to die, you struggle between the requirements of your Islamic upbringing and between the reality that you value your life. And at some point, one has to outweigh the other. And for a Muslim fundamentalist, we always chose death. We always chose the suicide. My cousin died on his way to Ben Yehuda Street, and he got killed. He died. I had people, relatives die, and fighting the Israelis. And as I look at it now, I think, what a waste. What a waste of life.
Okay, and then we say goodbye and shake hands. Okay?
Are you ready, John?
Okay, I'm running.
I'm running too.
Okay, well, so in other words, you want to change. In other words, who gives you the right to change or to put a government in another country?
Shouldn't be us that puts together the new government. It should be the people of Afghanistan, inside Afghanistan and those that have had to flee from Afghanistan. And I think that's the right way to do it. Now, can I say I've enjoyed very much doing this interview with you, and I think that whatever differences there are between us, it's important we carry on